Oh, my homosexuals. How are you doing today? Now let me explain something to you. What is the first thing that you learn when you're learning about interacting with people in the typical public? And it is to not take drugs from strangers. Now don't get the wrong idea. No, it was not an actual hard drug. But I did show up to the gym today. Some random nutrition guy threw some pre-workout in a sack at me and was like, it's good. And I'm like, you know what? You gave it to me for free. And I had my first full shift on the job today. So I'm sitting here like, you know what? I'm a little bit I'm desperate for a little bit of good energy, pump up the physicality a little bit, and let's just have some fun, see how it feels. And lo and behold, it is my least favorite kind of pre-workout. The shit that is all pins and needles, no caffeine, and no benefits. It was not fun. I know that's like taken differently across the weightlifting spectrum because a lot of people really do enjoy the pins and needles. It gets them a little bit hyped up. I already have the fucking hype when I get to the gym. So no, it did not make me feel good. It made my brain go haywire. I was tunnel vision, and I just was not locked in with the form like whatsoever. It was very disappointing when it came to my power snatches. I don't know how it looks to you guys. I'm not really interested in looking back at it right now, but it felt very disappointing. But to give myself the benefit of the doubt, we pushed through. We had good lockouts for the most part. It still did not feel great, but I do believe the last set was the best set. So, you gotta take the positives where your body's gonna give it to you. So I can at least appreciate the effort I put in. The main thing that was really frustrating was I don't know what set it happened on, but I've talked to you guys back and forth for a while now. Kind of hinting at it, at the fact that I want to say a year and a half ago now, maybe more. I injured my left hand with a bone growth. It's called carpal bossing, if you want to look it up. And it fucked up the strength in my hand because it's really hard to have grip strength when the bone is protruding where it shouldn't be. It just makes for a lack of mobility and overall strength where I need it. And when I have days like today where I do all of the stupid things, as in, shift started at 7 a.m. And don't get me wrong, it was great. I love the new job so far. It's been good, great learning experience, and I'm getting paid. It's good to have a paycheck rolling through again because it gets a little worrisome sometimes. So 7 a.m. to 4:30, I'm working, and I go straight to the gym because mentally, I'm feeling good. But mentally, I'm not thinking about the fact that I haven't eaten a goddamn morsel of food in 4 hours. That was my B. That was a little fucking stupid on my part because, at least for me, I know that when it comes to feeling at my peak, I need to eat at least within the 2 hours before I go to the gym. And I did not adhere to what my body wanted today. Again, it was kind of just a back and forth of riding the adrenaline of new work and a new schedule. And, you got to live and you learn. You got to take in this new schedule and try your best with it. Day one's always going to be shit in some sort of way. You're always going to fuck something up in some sort of way. It's just what life is, You're going to fuck up hardest when you start, so you got to at least take it off the, you got to take it off the chin, grain of salt type shit, and just appreciate that you got to lift. My hand did not feel good. That's the one thing that really irked me today was it wasn't even, I'm not even most upset about my hand hurting, because it never hurts like that anymore, and it's not injured. Don't get me wrong. I know my hand very well now. It is not injured. But when you have to whip a weight, I said this yesterday, you can rely on your technique a lot more to get a weight where you need it to if your core isn't feeling stable. But I didn't realize how little energy I had all over my body, so not only was my core unstable, but my shoulders and my wrists and my elbows were also not wanting to lock out right where I needed them to. That was the biggest mistake. And moving from that, I decided to do all my working sets without the reps because I was a little bit delusional because I haven't been in pain like that in a while, thinking that I'd be fine by the end of it. My hand just needed to warm up, and it just wasn't the case. It did feel a little better toward the end, but I think it was more because I lock in a lot better on that last set because I got nothing left to lose. You know, I want to make it my last set, best set kind of shit. But either way, you know, nonetheless, I brought it back as we do. You know, you got to really fucking take a breather sometimes when that happens, because I was getting real heated at myself because I felt really good today, and it's very frustrating to feel that shitty when you had such a good day, at least physically. And I did feel better on the bench. I ended up throwing the wrist wraps on when I got to the bench because it was literally a matter of I either don't with a bit more ego and just see what happens, or I throw them on just in case and I feel a little bit more comfortable, you know? That was it. And I don't like wearing elbow wraps, and I don't like wearing knee sleeves, because for me, I would rather those parts of my body be at a all-time 100% like confidence level, you know, because you don't need the sleeves unless you have a legitimate chronic injury that will get worse if you know that you have to wear those sleeves. But for me, I just don't need them, you know? So I'd rather pick up the strength without putting the sleeves on. And people don't really think about it, is if you wear sleeves anywhere, even if it feels a little bit more compressed, if you're like me and you do acid grass every single time or hit maximum depth in whatever you're doing, you're going to have a lack of mobility when it comes to how much your knee can crease over that wrap. And I don't fuck with that as much. But I will say the wrist wraps are nice because of the way that I use them. You know, it's the purpose behind it is always what's the most important. Because I didn't just put on some hard-ass fucking straps that wrap 1,000 yards worth of strap. I have a specific brand that I got that it's a layer of cloth, essentially, that's very flimsy. It's not that tight. It's just stable. You know, so it doesn't let my wrist bend too far back. And I can tighten it as much as I want to because the wrap around it is separate from the actual, you know, cloth itself. And so for me, I don't even really tighten it at all because it's a small enough size for my wrist to where just closing the Velcro down when I get it through the wrap makes it to where it's tight enough, because I just want that little bit of stability. I don't need any support when it comes to the strength or the tightness in my wrist. I just needed my hand to not bend too far back for what my bone growth was capable of holding today. Because again, I didn't feel at my best. That was the hardest part about it, you know. But I got it locked back in, took a breather, walked it off, shot the shit with the homies as I always do, because that will make you feel better every fucking time, no matter how shitty you feel about yourself. Because they're there to support you, you know? That's what they're fucking there for. But I got on the bench, did my absolute fucking best, and I'm very happy with how 255 is flying for those pause reps. That's only 70%, don't get me wrong. It's not that heavy, but it's moving. You know, it's fucking schmoving. I love it. So I'm now very confident in trying out 275 in a couple days. Because if you don't know, that is the weight that I pulled my chest on twice in 1 month. And that was right when my knee got hurt. That was a little over 3 months ago. So we're finally back at that weight. I have never felt more confident. I feel like I did the rehab a lot better this time. I'm just taking my body's priorities into account, you know, giving it the attentive care it needs. And, you know, I can't really put a negative what if on it, because if I do, then that's just going to make me lift worse, and it's going to make me hesitate and feel shitty before I even attempt it. So like I always tell you guys, I got to at least give it my 100% worth of effort, even if I don't feel the best physically and mentally. So on that note, you know, physically, I cannot lie to myself and say that it was a good day, because it wasn't. You know, I really got in my head. The wrist thing really pissed me off, and it's honestly inspired me to do my due diligence in strengthening my left hand, because I've realized it is obviously weaker. And again, it makes sense. There's a bone growth. It gets in the way of, you know, my grip and ability. But that doesn't mean I can't train it with the little things at home, you know? Especially like if you've ever used like that claw one where you retract all of your fingers as tightly as you can until you have them fully outstretched. That's a great one. You know, stuff like that, or just doing a nice forward bend with just like focusing it straight on your wrist. Just hold it while you're holding something. It could be like a soda, you know? Just bend your hand a couple times, feel it out, get that strength in it. That's what's important about it. So all in all, even though the snatch didn't go well, I did pretty decently, and bench was way better than I could have earned. You know, I did earn it. Don't get me wrong. I'll give myself the credit for it, but I was a bit of a bitch about it today. So it wasn't as deserved as it was what I earned. But, you know, that's just me being a little bit more pessimistic than the moment, I think. So I'll give it a 7.2. You know, not too horrible, not too bad. I like to always kind of keep my number around 8 at least. If you guys have been here for a minute, that's a pretty decent day. You know, everything feels good. Anything near a 9, I'm killing it. And whenever I get to the 7s, I know I'm just not feeling great. You know, something went a little bit wrong. Because I've mentioned it before. If I ever give you guys, I know that it's 1 to 10, and it seems like I should have more below 5. But the reason I've never had a score of lower than 5 is because in my ranking, you know, for my own little personal fucking health that I like to do, that would mean that I had a majority negative day. And I pride myself on the fact that I always managed to bring it back in a way where it was a mostly positive day. Whether I grew by 0.1%, I don't give a fuck. That's a step forward, not backward. I am never going backwards. That is the commitment to the fucking sport that I give it. You know, that's the effort that I'm talking about. But other than that, mentally, I'm proud of myself. You know, I got to recognize that as well. I did my first 9-hour shift in years, honestly. I know that might seem a little pathetic, but it's been a long time since I put in that kind of work, and I honestly think I killed it. I put in some good effort. I really tried my fucking hardest at this job, I gave it the most attention I could, just like with the gym, you know? But it's really, really hard to balance passions when you do them every single day. And there's going to be a lot of hours being put into the hospital work, just like I do at the gym. So I have to find a good way to balance them, you know? It can't just be a give and take and see if one feels shitty than the other. I want to feel great with both. Even if I can't give it my all-time lifetime PR worth of effort, whatever. I want to be able to grow in both exponentially. So today, the hospital was great. I'm proud of myself, met some great people. I'm putting in the good effort. You know, my mentality was high as fuck, you know? And that's partly why I didn't realize how physically shit I felt until I got to the gym and took random drugs from a random stranger. Again, to preface, not real drugs, but kind of, you know, lots of chemicals in a little packet that was definitely more than what I fucking needed. But that's why we have rest days, which will be what I have tomorrow. So I brought it back, you know. We did good. So mentally, I'll at least allow myself to have a solid... I got to give it a flat 8 at least. No, 8.1. Right over that little line. Because I do deserve that. It was a very good day. I really just got in my head, you know. The overthinking can fucking kill a day for you. So, you know, it's not as high as it could have been. Of course, that's how it always is. But it could have been a lot lower. We all know this. So if we're going to play the what-if game, I'm always going to go in the route where I play the what-if positive shit. That's just the way I like to live. Because it makes days like today worth it. You know, my wrist isn't injured. I actually feel stronger now because I put the wraps on during bench. And who knows what would happen if I tried to do bench raw. And, you know, look at the potential growth I've made for myself for 275 in a couple of days. So, yeah, you know, it might look like a bitch thing to do, but God damn it, I'm going to wear some straps. I might do it for a little while. I don't know if it's going to restrict my mobility at all, but it did feel nice to have. I'm not going to lie to you. It felt very comforting to my wrist. And I need that, you know, my joints are paramount. Those are the things that secure me. The muscles are just this extra support on top of that. I need my knees, my elbows, my wrists, all that shit, my ankles. They gotta be pristine or I can't do anything, regardless of how strong I am. So I'm gonna stay humble, take today as a learning experience while maintaining that I did well, and we'll just progress as we always fucking do. And here's something fun. Day after tomorrow, after my rest day, we get to go heavy on clean and jerks again for the first time in a while. And I've been meaning to put in some good fucking effort. More than that, now that my 90-degree squats are feeling great, I can go up to a heavy front squat. And yeah, it might be jumping the gate a little bit, but based off my effort, the squats and the overhead squats have felt great. So I at least have to try, you know? So I'll get to go up to 305 for sets of 6, which is kind of nuts, but I'm going to fucking run it, man. We're going to do our absolute fucking best because that's what I'm here for, you know? That's all I can ask for. That's all I can give my body, you know? So either way, I appreciate you guys. I know a lot of this just kind of seems like yapping sometimes, but it truly does make a difference to my day and allows me to give myself a better positive perspective on the experiences that I go through rather than sitting and mulling over it for days on end. You know, this is the shit that everybody needs, an outlet to express this shit when you got nothing better to do than mope, you know? I'd rather shoot the shit with my phone to you guys than mope and stare at a fucking wall for 3 hours. It's just not worth it. So, again, resting tomorrow. Gladly so. I did way too much today. And I'll keep you guys updated. I'm always going to be around. I'll be back in the day after to hit some heavy clean and jerk shit. And I'm just going to do my fucking best. So I love you. And I'll see you when I get back. Goodbye.